Ranchers historically have been viewed as someone who produces beef, but the aspect that really hasn't been highlighted is that we also are stewards of the land. And as we move ahead and as the world becomes more concerned about environmental health, I think that the role that ranchers play is going to become more and more important because we live on the land and the health of the land directly affects us. The health of the land has a direct impact on how well livestock do. And livestock is our livelihood, so the healthier the land, the better the livestock are going to do and the better our businesses. When you live on a piece of land, you develop a relationship with it, and it becomes not a rational thing, such as a business decision, but it becomes an emotional connection. We feel a responsibility toward maintaining the health of wild animals and the ecosystem that supports it. So if we ride out of headquarters, for example, there's a coyote that we get used to seeing and becomes more than just an animal that we see. It becomes part of our lives, part of who we are. Grasslands have evolved with cyclical disturbance in the form of rain, wind, grazing. And without that symbiotic relationship between grazing animals and the nutrients that the prairie produces, things would deteriorate. The grazing patterns of bison involved not only grazing, but leaving and letting it rest for long periods of time. Returning after rain and sunlight have completely regrown all the plants that they had been affecting. Now that bison are gone, cattle are a means of duplicating that relationship that bison once had, which involved recycling nutrients, fecal matter, urine, laying down plants as mulch or ground cover to preserve water and to help seedlings live through dry times. And one of the problems that happened is that fences went up and stopped the movement of cattle. So you had a group of cattle that were in a pasture without ever leaving it. And so you have certain species that are more palatable and therefore had a lot more pressure from a grazing standpoint. The new way of thinking today is to use fences as a means of not keeping cattle from moving, but from rotating cattle in a migratory fashion, much the way bison did, so that they do not come back to a plant until it's completely rested and recuperated and grown past where it was before. So in our management of the land, we look at a herd of cattle as a tool to manipulate the surface of the ground to achieve our conservation values, which are rest, covering bare ground, and building a diversified community of plants that duplicates what was there long before we got here.